Have you ever just wished you had a playbook for conversations? Like some secret manual? Well, today we're going to crack that code. And listen, we're not talking about boring grammar rules here. Nope. We're talking about the rules of the road that are going to help you navigate basically any discussion with way more confidence and honestly, just ease.
Oh, you know that feeling, right? That awkward pause where the crickets start chirping and your mind just goes completely blank? It happens to the best of us for sure. But what if I told you there's a really simple way to make sure that feeling, well, pretty much becomes a thing of the past?
So, what's the solution? It's something called conversation strategies. And I want you to think of these as your personal toolkit. Seriously. They're just simple but really powerful phrases that you can pull out in literally any situation. I'm talking a big business meeting or just a casual coffee chat. They help you guide the conversation, really connect with people, and yeah, feel completely in control. Okay, let's dive right in. So, we're going to follow the natural life cycle of a conversation, starting right where it should, at the very beginning, the opening. The big question is, how do you kick things off without being, super generic or kind of awkward?
Well, the secret to a really great start isn't some clever one liner or a deep, profound statement. It's specificity. Yeah, that's it. So instead of that generic, hey, how are you? Try asking about something specific, Like, how's everything going with the new house move? It just instantly shows that you listen, that you remember, and that you actually care. And boom, that opens the door to a way richer conversation. All right, so now we're in the thick of it, right? The conversation is flowing along, but this is where things can get a little tricky. How do you make sure everyone actually gets a chance to speak? And how do you agree or maybe even disagree without just killing the momentum? This is all about managing the flow.
This is so cool. This slide kind of breaks down the art of turn taking. So, on one hand, you've got taking the floor. Using a phrase like, if I could just jump in here, is absolutely perfect for when, everyone's deep in a discussion about project logistics, but you have this critical piece of client feedback that just can't wait. Then, on the other hand, there's holding the floor. That's your way of signaling, hey, I have a couple of connected ideas here, so just bear with me for a second. It's a really subtle but super powerful way to manage the whole rhythm of the conversation. And here we've got two more really powerful tools. Saying something like, I couldn't agree more is, well, it's just a fantastic way to build instant rapport. But the real superpower here? It's polite disagreement. Seriously. Starting with, I see what you mean, but, is so psychologically smart. It validates the other person's perspective first. It shows you're actually listening before you introduce your own take. And that keeps the whole dialogue collaborative instead of, confrontational.
So, we're still in the middle of our conversation, but let's shift gears just a little and focus on another absolutely crucial aspect: clarity. Because a great conversation isn't just about talking, right? It's about mutual understanding. So, let's look at how we can prevent any confusion before it even has a chance to start.
Okay, picture this for a second. A colleague says this to you. Your first instinct might be to just go, okay, see you later, right? But you can do so much more to show you're engaged and to find out what's really going on. This little trick, it's a fantastic technique called echoing. Just by repeating a keyword or phrase back as a question, you're prompting the other person to elaborate, and it feels completely natural. It's just a simple, subtle invitation for them to tell you more. Like whether they're heading off on some exciting trip or something. So this slide here basically gives you a whole toolkit, just for clarity. If someone says something kind of vague, you can ask them to unpack it. If you've just explained something really complex, it's a great idea to check in with a simple, does that make sense? And then, to make absolutely sure you're on the same page, you can paraphrase it back to them. Like, so, in other words, you're looking for, these tools are basically your insurance policy against miscommunication. All right, well, all good things must come to an end, and that definitely includes conversations. I mean, ending a discussion awkwardly can kind of undo all that great connection you just spent time building. So let's look at how to wrap things up smoothly and leave a really lasting positive impression. And here are three awesome options for your grand finale. If you're in a group, you can open the floor one last time for any final thoughts. If there's still more to cover, you can set a really clear follow-up plan. That shows you're totally on top of things. And you know what? In almost any situation, a simple positive statement can make the other person feel really valued and appreciated. It's all about choosing the one that fits the moment. Okay, so we've covered the beginning, the middle, and the end. What's the big idea here? What's the takeaway? Let's pull it all together and see what this really means for you.
So get this. The guide that actually inspired this whole explainer, it contains 50 of these powerful strategies. 50! We've only just explored a tiny handful today, but every single one is a tool designed to make your conversation smoother and way more effective. And really, that's the heart of it. You don't need to be some kind of linguistic genius to be a great conversationalist. You just need your own little toolkit of phrases. Phrases to start things off, phrases to clarify, to disagree politely, and of course, to end well. It's all about building better connections, one simple phrase at a time. So, as you head into your very next conversation, I want you to think about this. Are you going to try echoing to get a little more detail? Or maybe end that next meeting by setting a super clear follow-up? The first step is just picking one, so which strategy will you try first?